Hey everybody, I'm Ezra.
And I'm Michael.
We're here in the chef's garden in the greenhouse at Summerhill tasting our new fall release red wines. So first up is the 2017 Organic Cabernet Franc.
So this fruit was all grown in the southern Okanagan in the Osoyoos Oliver region. Cabernet Franc grows absolutely beautifully here in the valley. I do like to put a little bit of Cab Sauv in it. It kind of rounds it out and softens it a bit. So it is 11% Cab Sauv. But I find that it just kind of lifts the body and kind of rounds out the wine a little bit. So
yeah, right away it's unmistakable. Cabernet Franc is a grape that with a lot of character, hey?
Absolutely, especially here in the valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So around the world, used often in blends, including in Bordeaux. It's part of the Bordeaux blend, but here it's kind of a star in its own right. And what is it about the Okanagan Valley that makes good conditions for Cabernet Franc, do you think?
I think the biggest thing is we get a lot of beautiful heat, and so it gets ripe, and you get lots of beautiful ripe flavors. But then with the cool nights that we have, we preserve that natural acidity. And so it's bright, it's fresh, but it's not green, which is really nice. So we kind of get the best of both worlds of this really ripe, wonderful blackberry, black cherry, a little bit of like a green bell pepper, graphite minerality to it. But then it's got this beautiful acidity. It's really food friendly. It carries for a long time on the palate. And so the hot days and cool nights really do wonders for Cab Franc.
Yes, putting my nose in there, of the things you mentioned, it's really clear. That real freshness, that feeling of like sage, like capsicum, that peppery note, and graphite. It's really present on the nose. What a nice mouth feeling as well, and a smoothness. And Cabernet Franc, I know, generally is quite tannic, eh?
It is.
It's like in Bordeaux, it's like part of the real structure of those wines.
It absolutely is. So we let it spend 30 months in neutral oak barrels, just to kind of soften the tannin, soften the acid, round out the wine. And I think it really did the wine quite well.
Yeah.
The structure's there. It's got nice tannins, but they're not overpowering. They're not dry. They're really silky. Soft. It's got a beautiful balance to it. So I think that time in neutral barrels, it didn't get too oaky, but it still tamed the wine, worked really well for it.
Yeah, so that was 30 months, eh?
30 months.
Which is longer than you typically see.
Yeah, it's a long time for red, but the 2017 vintage, that's just what it called for.
Yeah.
I think we pulled it from barrel at the exact right time when it was showing well, beautiful fruit, still a lot of nice structure, but soft and silky and still quite approachable. So
yeah, I think it's fantastic. It's a real winner, and I think people are going to like this vintage, especially. 2017 was a particularly good year too, wasn't it?
It was quite warm. We had early bud break, early flowering, really hot growing season, and then August we had a little bit of fire, kind of pre-veraison, so we didn't have a lot of issues with smoke taint, and it slowed things down so that ripening happened in September, exactly when we wanted it. We picked it mid to end of October. It was actually one of the last things hanging. And it just allowed for beautiful ripening, beautiful phenolic development, beautiful sugar development. So 17 really was a wonderful year, especially for Cab Franc.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people are going to like it. It has, not only is it characterful, it really tastes like Cabernet Franc, but it's also like smooth and velvety, and it has a beautiful finish, and that freshness lasts all the way through. It has that real brightness that kind of keeps you interested and keeps you wanting another sip, you know?
Absolutely.
Nice.
All right, next we will do our 2018 Baco Noir, grown by Elmer Ides, just down the road from us.
So Baco Noir, we have something like a, what would you say, like a little cult of appreciation for this wine. It's an unusual wine. We released it as part of our Heritage series. You can see we have our little Heritage cabin on the label, which is here on the property. And this celebrates the history of the Okanagan wine industry. A lot of the Baco Noir vines were ripped out when people learned that we could grow the classic European vinifera here. This was grown in the old days of the industry because it's disease resistant and frost tolerant. But our neighbor, Elmer Ides, bought a farm with Baco Noir, and he never replanted, he never ripped it out, and he manages it organically. He manages it like quality wine, just like just like Pinot Noir or Cabernet Sauvignon would be managed. and people really like it. Yeah. So what can you tell us about the 2018 vintage?
So 2018 was another nice vintage. It was quite warm, not quite as warm as 2017, but it allowed us to preserve these beautiful acids, beautiful structure. Baco Noir has a beautiful acidity to it. It's got a rusticness to it. And 2018 just allowed that all to kind of shine in spades. It allowed it to come through. It's a little bit more towards an older style that we did. It's a little bit drier, a little bit of time in oak just to round everything out. But I think what came through is beautiful. When I have friends who are Italian wine drinkers, I always recommend the Baco. It's got that rustic fruit to it, a nice acid, a beautiful velvety tannin structure to it. So.
Yeah, you know what else it has? It has richness and depth and weight. It's like almost like drinking a wine from a hotter climate. Where the Cabernet Franc has an elegance and a medium body. This is like a full, rich.
It's
wine.
big, it's round, it's soft. Yeah.
I always think of I always want to pair this with hamburgers and French fries and ketchup. I don't know why, but that's where my mind goes when I think about Baco Noir and wine pairing, or veggie burgers too. That would work.
Yeah, well, that's making me hungry. It's definitely lunchtime.
Yeah, so these are the first fall release red wines that have come out so far, and congratulate you, Michael. You did a really beautiful job with them. They're fantastic. They're real wines. They taste like the earth, and they have that beauty in them. So, hope you guys enjoy them. You want to say any final words?
Happy 2020 harvest, and I hope everyone enjoys. Cheers.